Okay, I think I created something that's not on YouTube. I have a completely automatic concrete machine, not just the powder, but the actual wetted concrete. And this makes use of a whole bunch of known components, so we just start off with the chunk loader. Just drop a stick in there and wait for it to come back to make sure it's running. And there it goes, so this is running. And then we have the gravity block duper, which was designed by Raiseworks, and here's a good explanation of it. So we have 4 of these running into the end portal, which you can kind of see up there. You have to get rid of the sides of the frame first with a red mushroom. It's actually really easy, you just really dig out the space for it. And you build these machines, which end up catching the block in the same tick that the entity goes into the end, so it ends up effectively duplicating it. So if we look at this machine on the end side, we have 2 things. We have, number 1, the collection system for the powders. So the powders will fall in, they'll land on a slab on a water stream and just get pushed forward into the collection system. This is on all 4 sides. Or we could switch it into the wetted mode, where everything is just going to keep going further down the tunnel. So we have all 4 directions, so we have 4 machines then to handle all of it. So if we look over here, we have 1 machine that is, number 1, pulling any of the concrete that it creates, and then there's other pistons pushing it forward into the TNT duper. And what's happening here is when it is landing from the machine, so they're flying down, they're landing on y equals 4. The game is lagging out, there it goes. And it is creating 3 blocks at a time, because 3 are going in at the same time. So the first one lands, it's instantly wetted, and then that makes the other 2 check if they should also get wetted. So all 3 in the chain are. And for some reason this only works on y equals 4. I'll show you what happens if it doesn't. If it's some other material, it operates the same way. So what's happening then, to trigger when it knows it should pull and push the blocks forward into the duper, is there is a tripwire that's just checking when the entity passes through. So the tripwire triggers the pistons, and it also triggers a redstone signal up to the top, where I just have a hopper timer that has some delay caused by the bottom part, which also completely stops it if it's not running. So that way the TNT dupers don't break whenever we exit or re-enter the dimensions. So as you can see, this works for the concrete, the solid stuff. And if you happen to have gravel, sand, or some other gravity block that isn't in the game yet, go through it, it's just going to fall, operate the mechanism the same way, but you can see it doesn't create all 3 blocks. This is what the powder does in every other Y level, Y equals 4, 8 block, and it's just pulling that 1 block that lands forward, pushing it onto a slab. It's breaking the same way it does on top, and then all of these are just going into our collection system, which all goes up that tube right there, and we have our collection system over here. So as we can see, the dark blue should be filling up. I believe I have gray too. And I think magenta is another one of them. And I have gravel going as well. So you can see all those are working, and we could also switch it back into just the powder collection mode, and it will still collect those as well. And I don't remember seeing this on YouTube anywhere. I have been looking around, and there's mostly just duplicators to get the powdered versions, or just the sand and gravel. It's just, I haven't seen one that takes it to this next step to automatically convert it to the wetted concrete and harvest that. I think this is a lot more efficient than doing it by hand. As for rates, we measured this is around 33,000 an hour for the solid stuff, and for the powders it's around 36,000 an hour. So I assume there's some loss with the TNT blowing up some entities, but I mean, this is a 2-person server, there's not really any problem with that. It doesn't affect us any, we don't notice it. So I'm sure it can be improved. It's just all basic components with my limited redstone knowledge. But I think this is a really cool machine. I'm just surprised that it doesn't exist out there. There you go.